This report analyzes people who purchase and consume energy bars. The three brands studied are Clif Bar, Power Bar, and Balance Bar. The index spread for each demographic variable of Clif Bar customers are displayed in the chart, with the top 5 being highlighted in yellow. This indicates that household income, education, occupation, home value, and age are the top indicators of buying power for Clif Bar. The top indicators of buying power for Balance Bar are home value, household income, education, census region, and age, while the top indicators for Power Bar are age, household income, education, home value, and marital status. Looking at the different index spreads, a similar trend emerges through the different variables. Age, household income, home value, and education are common variables for all three brands. This combination of demographics makes sense, as there seems to be a correlation between the 4 variables. The only different variable between the 3 bars was occupation for Clif Bar, census region for Balance Bar, and marital status for Power Bar. A comparison of the common variable index spreads is displayed below. The top segment in the education variable were those in the postgraduate segment, with a usage index of 201. This means that a consumer with a graduate degree is 101% more likely to purchase a Clif Bar than the average consumer. Out of the age variable, 18 to 24-year-olds made up the top segment, with an index of 155. They are 55% more likely to use Clif Bars than the average energy bar consumer. Professional and related occupation was the segment leader regarding the occupation variable, and with a usage index of 201. This index implies professionals and people in related industries are 101% more likely than the average consumer to buy Clif Bars. The fourth variable is household income. The leading segment of Clif Bar consumers were those with a household income of $150,000 or greater. This segment had a usage index of 200, meaning they are 100% or twice as likely to consume Clif Bars than the consumers with an average household income. The last variable, home value, showed that those with a home value of $500,000 or greater were 59% more likely to consume Clif Bars than those living in average value homes. After reviewing the demographic segment of our customers, one can see that of all the Clif Bars customers, the vast majority are white. To be more specific, 85% are white and 83.6% are white only. After that, the next 3 highest demographic segments are adults between the ages of 18 and 49, making up 81.2% of Clif Bar's consumer base, homeowners being 72.3% of customers, and adults age 25 to 54 about 68.8% of customers. Looking at Power Bar's data reveals that their top demographic segments are the same as Clif Bar's, however they make up less of Clif Bar's total customer base. For example, people that are white are the top demographic segment for both companies, but they make up only 78.4% of Power Bar customers as opposed to 85% of Clif Bar. For Power Bar, adults between 18 and 49 again make up the third demographic segment, with 73.9% of their customers falling into this category. This segment makes about 7% less of the customer base for Power Bar than it does Clif Bar. The same occurs with the segment for homeowners and adults aged 25 to 54, whereas these segments make up 72.3 and 68.8 respectively in Clif Bar customers. They only make up 67.9 and 61.2 of Power Bar customers. Balance Bar has the same 5 demographic segments that make up the majority of their customer base, but these segments make up still less of the total customers than they do with either Power Bar or Clif Bar, and they are in a slightly different order. 70.7% of Balance Bar's buyers are white, about 6% less than the segment percentage for Power Bar, and 13% less than Clif Bar. The biggest difference between Balance Bar and the other 2 companies, though, is that homeownership is more important than age. Homeownership makes up the 3rd largest segment rather than the 4th. A higher percentage of Balance Bar customers are older as well. Adults between the age of 25 and 54 are the 4th largest segment as opposed to the 5th. Looking at the education variable, the top segment for all 3 companies is consumers who have graduated college plus. 47.6% of Clif Bar's consumers have graduated college, while 45% of Balance Bar and 37% of Power Bar's consumers have graduated college. Looking at the age variable, the leading segment for both Clif Bar and Power Bar is the age range of 25 to 34. 25.3% of Clif Bar's consumers are 25 to 34 years old, while 21.9% of Power Bars are. The leading segment for Balance Bar is the segment 45 to 54 years old, representing 26.5% of Balance Bar consumers. Looking at the household income variable, the top segment, once again for all three companies, is a household income between $75,000 and $149,999. This segment represents 39.6% of Clif Bar consumers, while it represents 19.9% for Balance Bar and 21.9% for Power Bar. Looking at the home value variable, the highest segment for all three companies is a home value between $200,000 and $500,000. 41.2% of Clif Bar's customers fall in this category, compared with 28.5% for Balance Bar and 34.4% for Power Bar. Looking at mass marketing, the first demographic that we recommend focusing marketing resources on is consumers who have graduated college. At 47.6% of college graduates consuming Clif Bar, this educational segment has the highest percentage down among all the demographic data. Also, individuals who have graduated from college are 76% more likely to consume Clif Bar than the average person, with an index of 176. The second demographic segment we recommend to focus marketing resources on is the population of people who own a home with a value between $200,000 and $500,000. This demographic segment has a slightly lower percent down in index compared to our first segment recommendation, but is the second most attractive for mass marketing. Out of people who were surveyed whose home value is between $200,000 and $500,000, 41.2% consume Clif Bar. The third demographic segment that has a large share of product users and also a high likelihood of people consuming Clif Bar compared to the average population are people with a household income between the ranges of $75,000 and $150,000. Third highest percentage down among the sorted demographic segment data, 39.6% of Clif Bar's consumers fall into this segment. Looking at niche marketing demographics, the first demographic segment that we recommend to focus resources on is education. Education is also the first demographic variable that we recommend for mass marketing. However, the segments of importance between mass and niche marketing are different. At 19.1% of postgraduate individuals consuming Clif Bar, this segment has a fairly smaller share of product users compared to the 47.6% of college graduates consuming Clif Bar that was recommended for mass marketing. Postgraduate consumers are also 101% more likely than the average population to consume Clif Bar, the highest index among all of the MRI data. The second segment that we recommend for niche marketing is individuals who have a professional or related occupation. This demographic variable is specifically unique to our analysis because it was not explored as a recommendation for mass marketing. 27% of individuals who have a professional or related occupation consume Clif Bar. Through our research, we discovered in order to target Clif Bar consumers, the most effective internet channels include gmail.com, itunes.com, wikipedia.org, Amazon.com, and ESPN.com. All 5 internet channels in comparison to the other websites have a large percentage down in addition to a high index. This indicates that this represents a large percentage of Clif Bar users as well as consumers who are to buy more often. Clif Bar will be most effectively mass marketed to these sites since they are widely used and each includes over 20% more likely to consume Clif Bar. The television channels that were determined to be the most effective in mass marketing Clif Bar included Entertainment Television, Comedy Central, ESPN, the Discovery Channel, and TLC. All 5 television channels, in comparison to the other channels, again have a large percentage down in addition to a high index. The print outlets that were most effective in mass marketing Clif Bar included People, National Geographic, NNN Top 25 Daily, the Costco Connection, and Men's Health. All 5 periodicals, and compared to the other channels, again have a large percentage of Clif Bar consumers in addition to a high index. When targeting niche markets, the websites that were determined to be the most effective in marketing included LinkedIn.com, IMDb.com, NewYorkTimes.com, Hulu.com, and Orbitz. All 5 websites have a medium size of consumers but high index, indicating a true niche market. When targeting niche markets, the television channels that were determined to be the most effective in marketing Clif Bar included Adult Swim, FX, ESPN News, MTV, and VH1. The periodicals recommended to be the most effective in marketing Clif Bar included Travel and Leisure, GQ, Outside, Runner's World, and Men's Journal. This concludes our recommendation and our report. Thank you.